Hello Sagittarius, welcome to my channel. This is a reading for March 2024. If you feel called to watch it at any other time, feel free to do that. Welcome to other signs as well. I have a couple decks that I'll be using. I'll use the Slavic Legends Tarot, the Pastoral Tarot, the Power of the Runes, and Healing with the Fairies. I'm getting that some may have had a like seasonal depression or influx of emotion. But there was like a dip in energy. And that something sparked joy recently. And again, if it's like seasonal depression or a time period where something happened and you're gradually healing from it, then maybe the seasons, you're feeling the warmth, or if you prefer it being colder, it depending on where you live. This could be um, a change of events that either things are starting to level out or not be as harsh, or but for one of the main ones I'm getting is almost as if you were living your day-to-day life and um doing mundane things as you do with everybody, but it kind of felt like it was taking a toll because say you're kind of a part of like your family business, or you were kind of what is it called? Well, say there's like a family business, and then you didn't really want to be part of the family business, but you were kind of sucked into the situation because, family's family for a lot of the people in this situation. And so it's just taking a toll because you wish that your life was different, and you wish you were like happier. You wish that like other things would progress, maybe with relationships or your um the type of job that you do, because it's the family business may not be something that you want to do for the rest of your life. So it's almost as if a pamphlet, like you saw something and you're thinking, wow, I could really do something like this. Um, Maybe something on your school board, or maybe a person like walks into the store or walks into your life, and that really sparks something new, Um, and then something develops there where you're thinking life has more possibilities than I know, and I need to venture off and to see those possibilities. So I'll continue to pull out the cards. And it's interesting because you might feel outed because other people, like in your family, might be part of the business. And it doesn't need to be a family business, but take it for what you will. Other people are happy or comfortable in those areas, but it does seem like there is a heavy transition time. I I would say I have moved a lot over the years, and it felt a little bit like a graduation because I would say for a lot of people, they either work like food or retail for the younger part of your life. And then as you go to school, maybe get your degree, and now you're thinking, I want to do something that is related to what I went to school for. That feels like a transition too. And when I had my last job, it was like at a French cafe. It was like an art gallery slash French cafe in Philly, and I felt like it was the best last restaurant or cafe job that I had. It was like a nice ending to that part of my life. And I remember it was so interesting because towards the end, it was like a very in tune situation where the owners were from France and they really wanted to make sure that everyone was in the communication was there and that everyone felt comfortable. It was supposed to be an inclusive type of area because the owners were part of the um, LGBTQ community. And towards the end, they felt like I was kind of ready to head out, and they would ask like, "Adrian, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay." And then like towards the end, I did end up finding like getting my foot through the door and um in pharmacy, and then um I said that I felt bad because I was trying to give like a good amount of notice because I didn't want to just I don't like leaving jobs too abruptly. I want to make sure that they're able to find people to really take care of the things that I was taking care of. And so one of the owners like was talking to me and was saying that um don't you want to move on with your life instead of being here with this, and it like kind of pointing at the restaurant as like a whole like I know you don't want to do this for the rest of your life. And so it was like kind of um them saying that you need to do what you have to do, and um there was the support there on making sure that I was taken care of and I didn't need to feel bad for having a new spark or a new journey in my life. And this is, I would say, a major time because the cards that are turned over so far are the Judgment card and the Star. And it's interesting, as I was saying, like the changing of seasons and maybe seasonal depression. I am seeing that there's growth again, as if like maybe this is the spirit of the tree, and like you see that it's winter surrounding the tree, but the tree is so strong in the midst of these things that it overcomes those times of lack or overcomes the times of like darkness or eeriness or unknowing, and is able to uh, playing the flute as if being expressive about one's own feelings, and then having your own mind, I would say, is an important aspect to this reading, because don't I would say to be mindful about what other people's dreams are, especially if they're within your vicinity, but make sure that the dreams that you're following through with are actually your dreams and not somebody else's dreams. And more clarification with like maybe talking things through, because you see that they're kind of hand in hand, and it looks like, oh, where the dock is, and so there's the water, and it's kind of seeing like the vastness of like the lake, or I'm getting like the ocean and seeing past things, almost like one of those voyagers or people that were discovering land in different areas of the world, like with sailing. So, um, trying to find those new areas to thrive in. And it feels like with this reading that the cards don't really want to come out, which is surprising because they are cards that seem like once you stop fighting the, what is it, like the current, or move past the current of the ocean and get to the smoother waters, then it gets easier from there. But there seems to be just stopping. For some, there might be uh, the feeling of aggression, as if like it's pent up aggression. This could be like frustration of doing the things that maybe you don't feel is a calling for you, but you do them because maybe they're necessary. Maybe because the sense of community and having to do your part. Because in the present, I'm getting the Seven of Coins, Seven of Pentacles reversed. And with this one, it feels like something isn't being tended to. As if there's like a list of things to do, and the thing that you really want to, or that you have to do, you put at the very bottom of the list. It's almost like the feeling of laundry is always going to wait for you. There's always like, I guess, like laundry is always there for you to fold, to wash, and, to dry, and not in that order, but, um, it's like when you have to study for a test and you'd rather do everything else but to study for that test. That's what it feels like the reverse Seven of Coins is. But because the Judgment came out and the Star came out, as if the results are better than you think that they're going to be. Because even in the Oracle card, it's the happily ever after. And this opens up like a new journey. This kind of feels like a gaming thing. Like you go through like the different portals, or you go through like you click on something and then it brings you to a new world. Unless it's one of those open world games, but as kind of like those types of things where it's it's like a passport, and if you don't get your passport, you can't go to different countries. Um, it doesn't need to be different countries necessarily, and again, that's something that's open to interpretation on the type of traveling or the type of journey that you're actually taking. But like with um the US, I would say a good amount of people don't have passports because the US has like within the country there's the different states, and some states are really like some are larger than um others are not that big, but like say I used to live in Florida at some point, and I wasn't even at the very like southern part of Florida. I was like close to being towards the bottom, or the southern part of most southern part of Florida. But to when I moved back north and I was driving, I drove 9 hours just to leave Florida. So you could get an idea of where I am if you're in the US, or if you've been to Florida, you'll know how big it is and how much of a task it is to just like leave that state. So, um, then on top of that, like overall, to get back to where I was originally from and staying, that was like nearly 20 hours of driving. And I would definitely, if you're trying to get past the situation, and I would do it as I would put your energy where you can, and sometimes you don't get that opportunity, but and then you could appreciate those times when you do have it. But it takes a lot of energy to do it all at once because I did majority of that driving one time because I I didn't really want to stop somewhere to stay. And so I mainly just stopped for gas, and that was it. And I just kept driving, which is not good. So I would say, for these types of times, if you can, to really appreciate the resting times and then to move forward and have those little stops and goes, and maybe you can put more energy towards one thing after you rested a little bit, and then you'll feel more rejuvenated and have more clarity. Your mind won't be so fatigued. Some of the Sagittarius are getting out of a storm, and it's kind of hard to navigate through a storm. Not only do you not have the steadiness of being on land, but it's also daunting. And then you see all these dark clouds around you, and you see the stormy waters, and it really has so much strength, and it can pull you into the water, and then you won't have like salvation after that. There's also a sense that there could be like a resistance towards this new beginning too. So if there's resistance, then you're stuck with this. For some, because the obstacle is the Four of Wands, and it could be the lack of getting everybody on the same page. And sometimes you won't get everybody on the same page. But it's not as bad as you think, because I'm getting there's like a sense of understanding and communication anyway. It's like agree to disagree. And just because someone gives you an answer that's different than your own doesn't mean that they don't like you, or doesn't mean that they're trying to go against you. Some might try to go against you, but I would say if someone tries to go against you, a lot of times it's not as confrontational as you think. A lot of times it's behind closed doors. A lot of times it's those situations or like those conversations that you weren't there for. And that's where people's like true colors are going to show. So it's at that point I would say that to make your own judgment call on it. If you know the people, you know the situation, I think you could put two and two together on maybe how they would react or how they are reacting and what they might be holding back. Because sometimes it just seems like in society that it's rude to express how you're feeling or how you are. And it's weird because people want you to, they say that they want you to be their yourself, but when you end up being yourself, they put some conditions to it. But again, I would take it with a grain of salt. Because in the Pastoral Tarot, it's the Five of Cups with the King of Cups. And I think this is a really good reaction to the Five of Cups because I feel like with the King of Cups, he or she is realizing that it's not as bad as it seems. In the lighthouse with the storm, I feel like for some people, they act like the person that walks into the restaurant or walks into your life is kind of seen as the lighthouse to the ship that's in the storm, and you see the lighthouse here lighting the way, paving the way. One of those things where they get brought into your life for those types of purposes to make sure that you remember the type of person that you are, you remember the way or the path that is ideal for you. I'm also getting for the past, there's a reversed King of Coins, King of Pentacles. This, or I'm sorry, Knight of Coins, Knight of Pentacles. Since I was saying King, maybe it was so hell-bent on a specific task that this person was unwilling to move any other way but in the place, or but stay in the place that he was ordered to stay in or she was ordered to stay in. But it's interesting because it's like um, a complete turnaround because in the future you have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is like at this point it kind of seems like a really, like when you grow up and as a child maybe you're more shy and you do specific activities. This, for the Page of Wands, it feels like one of those really hyper kids growing up. That they'll just run around and be a ball of energy. That's what it feels like with the Page of Wands. I think that with this, there is just such a happy energy that comes from it. And be I would say that if you aren't talking to somebody or maybe somebody comes up in the future, it's gonna be really spicy. I think that there would be some bedroom conversations because the wands is also that type of potency. Because even in how to overcome the Four of Wands in the obstacle position is the Ace of Wands. And this is also expressive too, and again with potency. I think that there is a heavy sense of um that type of interaction. I think that the person that may have walked into your life is somebody that you see in multiple ways, and one of the ways is just such a ex like ecstasy type of energy for you. Like there's something that you can't like get out of your head, or you can't like get enough of, because with the wands it's, I mean, depending on the deck, it could be associated, the wands can be associated with fire or air, because sometimes they switch those elements with the those suits. There just seems like there's a wildness to it, as if the Knight of Coins just got rocked. Like it's hard to, honestly, it's hard to distract the Knight of Coins. The Knight of Coins is just like dead set on fulfilling this duty, or um whatever this person has in mind to pursue. And I don't think it'd be a bad thing. I'd remember what other things that is needed to do, the necessities, but to also remember to make sure that you enjoy life in all different types of ways. The overall energy is the Three of Coins. Other people might see the changes in your behavior, and it might surprise them because um it's not like you don't want to do your job, but they just see that there's something different about this person, that how they're acting. I wonder who they met that's affecting them like this. I'll pull out a couple more cards. For some, you like this, now the cards are coming out. I would say for some of the Sagittarius, because with the Knight of Coins, the Knight of Coins isn't one to want distractions. So it kind of feels like it's more on the private side or hidden side of it, where um this this situation is definitely, it kind of feels like out of their character, something that they wouldn't normally do. Another Judgment card. So this is heavy judgment. Um for some reason I'm also getting is like, not saying that the world is ending like that, but it kind of feels like Revelations, where it comes down to these moments, or sometimes you feel called to do specific things, and you're given these maybe divine messages or something that just slips into your mind, and then you're thinking to act on it. It was like, kind of feels like um Noah's Ark. And even the Judgment card here, with the kind of bringing up the Moon card, they're in water too. So some might be trying to get out of that situation where maybe the waves did damage the ship, and now they're in the water and they're trying to find their way out before things get to a point where they can't. But again, there, because I was mentioning like there does seem like a salvation, or there does seem like to be something that carries you out, or um, it's like the universe is like it's not your time to do this, or it's not your time to end it here. You have to do something else. It's also reminded me of like the Maleficent part of the Maleficent movie where um the humans try to kill Maleficent, and then shoots her with an iron arrow, and then there's like the water that surrounds the castle, and another fairy, because Maleficent's a fairy, ends up picking her up, and it kind of feels like that where you come back from the unconsciousness and you're like, what happened? Where am I? And the other person that just walks in was like, or that walked in to save you from this part of your life is like, it looked like you needed something. Looked like maybe you needed some help. So I came at the right time, at the very right time, at the last second, to be honest, to make sure you know what path is open for you. And you'll notice that a lot of times, like other paths, evidently start closing for some reason. Like it just seems like for some reason they just don't stay open as even though they've been there for so long. So, because with the Seven of Pentacles reversed, it seemed like work wasn't getting put in, but now all the work, all the energy, that spark that you get from the Page of Wands, it's like the young, joyous energy that um even when you get older, and then it's something that's really special when you've been through so much and then something new comes in and surprising because it's completely a different type of experience, even though maybe you have been in another relationship, but that just ignites something in you to a point where it feels like a blessing to live again. And that's what kind of feels like with the Eight of Pentacles too. And then the final card is the Justice card. And this one says, take what you need, pay what you can. It has like one of those open farmer stands, which is really cool because I went to one because I wanted to try different apples. And um, no one was there. They were out on the farm, but they gave me, like, they had written directions. And I weighed stuff myself, and then I left a payment, and then I left. Um, luckily they had a card reader, because I didn't realize it was going to be like that because I've never been to one before. And in this other person's or situation's own way, it's kind of like they give you ley lines, or they give you a layout or a map of or directions on what you need to do next. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was interesting and helpful, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.